traders, and welcome. Lockie here for TTP. In this video, we're going to be doing a quick introduction into futures trading. Now, ladies and gents, as a futures trader, I started my journey in 2007. I've been a professional trader since 2009. I'm very, very excited about the concept of futures trading because it is growing quickly and growing globally, and there's many very good reasons for that. So let me break down exactly what futures trading is for you, talk about why it's getting so popular, and talk about how this funding thing with TTP is literally a complete game changer when it comes to futures trading. So ultimately, ladies and gents, what are futures? In simple terms, a futures trader buys or sells into the futures markets with the intent of making money when the market goes either up or down. So if you are a buyer in the market, all you want to do is believe that the value of the market is likely to go up, and all you can do is buy into that market with the intent of the market going up, naturally selling at a higher price and keeping the difference. Now, one of the advantages of being a futures trader is you can also sell the market, or what we refer to as short sell the market, which means you can take advantage of the market when it falls as well. Now, the key with that, ladies and gents, if you believe the market is going to fall in value, let's say you're trading either the gold market or the oil market or any of the markets we've got available to us. If you believe the price of oil is going to fall, all you do is actually short sell that market with the intent of buying it back a little bit later on. Ultimately, what does that mean? You're keeping the difference in both directions so you can profit from a rising, guys, in a falling market, which is actually quite exciting with the current market volatility around. It also, ladies and gents, makes you almost recession proof. If the market's falling, absolutely fantastic. If the market's rising, also fantastic. Now, all the way down the bottom of this slide, ladies and gents, as a futures trader, you are simply agreeing to buy or sell a very small percentage of a futures market at some point in time in the future. Now, we've got the choice of more than 70 markets around the world, as including naturally oil and gold, guys, all of the major currency or forex pairs traded globally, guys, the stock index markets, the crypto markets, and a whole lot more. Very, very exciting place to be. Now, for that, ladies and gents, there are typically two groups of people that are in the futures markets. We've got our hedgers or our long-range traders, and we've got our speculators down the bottom who are the day or the short-term traders. Now, that's where I come in. Let's expand on those topics a little bit. Now, again, in terms of a hedge trader, they're long-range traders. They're typically businesses or individuals who use futures contracts to protect themselves against the price fluctuation in the things they deal with daily as part of their business. For example, a farmer may want to protect themselves against a drop in the price of their crop just prior to harvest. So a farmer, for example, may use a futures contract to lock in the price of their crop 3 months from harvest. So if the price drops at the time of harvest, they've got a degree of insurance against that price drop using their futures contract. Now, when it comes down to the speculators, ladies and gents, that's where the day traders come in. That's what I've been doing since 2009. And may I suggest it is a life-changing career. Life-changing career. So guys, the speculators down the bottom there, they are traders who aim to profit from changes in the price of the futures contracts without any interest in buying or selling the underlying asset. Short-term traders may seek to sit on their position intra-week, meaning that ultimately they're going to buy on the Monday and sell on the Friday. Now, they do this so they don't hold the risk of a market correction over the weekend. Down the bottom there, you've got the day traders. Guys, now at this point in time, I'm typically sitting on my trade for around about 7 to 15 minutes. I pick up a myriad of trading opportunities on a daily basis. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, rise or fall makes absolutely no difference to professional futures traders. Now, it brings up a really good point, ladies and gents. If you're out there in the world understanding, why would I trade futures, for example, versus Forex or CFD is a great little point here, ladies and gents. Why is the popularity of futures growing so quickly around the world? Futures trading is gathering popularity quickly as traders globally realize that futures trading is conducted via regulated futures exchanges only. Now, that ultimately means, ladies and gents, there are no traditional brokers like your classic Forex broker or CFD broker. There are no brokers in the market mix. So what does this ultimately mean? There's no one on the other side of the market to manipulate it against you while you're trading. So 5 of the reasons why futures are becoming super popular globally is naturally we've got a huge selection of markets, which is awesome. Short and long range targets, another benefit. We've got multi-direction trading, fixed leverage at 1:30, and of course, no broker manipulation. This is one of the reasons why futures trading is gathering popularity quickly, simply because the market cannot be manipulated against you while you're trading it. Now, guys and girls, a little bit more on this. How do the futures markets ultimately work? So a futures contract allows you to buy or sell a selected market based on where you predict the market will be in the future. If you trade the S&P 500, for example, being a US stock index, you are simply predicting where the S&P 500 will be in a short period of time, i.e. you're going to predict whether it's going to go up or down. Now, you can predict this move to take minutes or hours, it's up to you, and naturally if you predict a good move, as in it moves in the right direction for a long way, as you can actually do very, very well out of that trade. Now, futures traders are in principle, guys, very, very simple traders. All we're doing is predicting where the price of the market is going to be at some point in time in the future, hence the name futures trading. Now, unlike options or CFDs, there is no time decay, interest charge, or brokers to deal with respectively. So futures trading is intentionally simple by design, and this sets a great platform for those who want to be very, very successful in the game of trading. Now, that being said, ladies and gents, futures traders do use a fixed leverage, typically 1:30. Now, that does mean we borrow a little bit of money every time we take a trade. Now, as much as this can be a little bit scary because there is some risk in the trade, it can also be very exciting because a 1:30 leverage means that if we get on the right side of the market, we can actually do very, very well out of the trade very, very quickly. So it's worth mentioning, ladies and gents, there are two risks in trading. There's a risk of making money and losing money, sure. But what we want to do is we want to become professional risk controllers. And as futures traders, that's what we do every day when we get into the market. Now, speaking of that, ladies and gents, there's an incredible thing called an ATM, which is one of the big advantages to being a futures trader. Now, an ATM, what does it actually stand for, ladies and gents? The acronym ATM stands for Automated Trade Management. This is ultimately where your trading platform automatically controls the risk in your trade for you shortly after you get into the trade, while at the same time letting your profits run. So if you do get on the right side of the market, which we tend to every day, we can control our risk very, very quickly, while at the same time letting our profit run for hours and hours should you choose to do that. So guys, another great advantage of being a futures trader is that the ATM strategy, or this ATM style of trading, is built into almost all futures trading platforms globally. Now, ladies and gents, in conclusion, why trade futures? A couple of very, very key take-homes if I can. The futures markets allow you to hedge the market, speculate the market. They allow you to diversify across multiple markets, and as such, guys, they're a great asset class for you to trade if you would like to become a professional trader. Now, futures markets are also highly liquid. Now, that means there's a lot of people trading them around the world. There's a lot of volume in the market. What that ultimately means is you can trade the market in both directions, sure, but if you do get quite good at trading, you can slowly but surely increase the size of your position with the intent of making more and more money, and ultimately, as you're on the way to being a professional trader. Now, further on this, the futures markets are traded on highly regulated futures exchanges, and these exchanges are built exclusively for futures traders. This is a big point. What does it mean? It means that these futures exchanges are devoid of all traditional OTC brokers, and as such, these exchanges are 100% devoid as of all broker-induced market manipulation, unlike the Forex, CFDs, and options markets. Now, I think this forms, ladies and gents, a very, very valuable comparison point if you're comparing trading futures versus any other form of trading. Now, guys, with the pending introduction of multiple cryptocurrency futures contracts, including BTC, Ethereum, and XRP, just to mention three, as may I suggest, the growth of the futures market seen over the last 10 years is a very, very tiny fraction of what we're going to see over the next 10 years. So now would be a very, very exciting time to get very good at futures trading. Now, where to from here, ladies and gents? Your next step is to start on your trading funding process with TTP. Now, I'm already a funded trader. As may I suggest, the funding process is not only quite good fun, but once you are funded, it's a really, really exciting prospect for those of you that want to be a professional trader, particularly, ladies and gents, if you're disciplined, you're patient, you're well educated, and you're ready to trade the markets as per a very heavily defined trading plan. So on that note, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, please do reach out, and I'll see you in the next video.